The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Monday, the 12th day of September, 2022. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical House One Communications and Lindo's. I'm Jamal Hartman. He's Larry Marshall Jr. and Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Burp, happy Monday, brother.
Hey, morning, happy Monday. I must say, I was backstage, a little Hartman shuffle to the music, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. See, he said Hartman Shuffle, not Sherry Shake, folks. Hartman Shuffle. Yeah. It's not easy. Just got to loosen up and go with it.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Good to see you, my boy. Happy birthday, first off.
Thank you.
What's that? 40 something?
I'm catching Sherry up. No, I'm catching Phil up. See, catching Sherry and Phil up. Phil's birthday was yesterday, and just right behind him. But you know what? I went to the gym this morning, did my regular workout, pushing, and I don't know if it's in my head, but I couldn't do my 100 today, man. I can't do it. You
had a birthday celebration weekend, so that probably has a little impact on you. So you know what I mean. Give yourself a break with that.
Yeah,
tomorrow should be the test.
Yeah. Lot of sugar in my blood, folks, and a lot of sugar. So forgive me. But greetings, everyone. Thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we discuss the violence in our community before focusing on the new school year. The daily play is a Who Said It. So a famous quote by a famous person that Larry is gonna have to guess who it is. Sherry Shake. You see what you did, Bert?
I didn't remember the Sherry Shake, I'll be honest.
See the hot. I'm just saying. Some things are memorable, Sister Sherry. Sister Sherry says, happy birthday. And so those solids. And thank you guys. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Appreciate the birthday greetings. But and again, hope Phil had a great birthday weekend.
Yes, brother Phil.
I will say this about birthdays before we jump into today's show. You know me, Burp. I used to have a birthday party every year. I used to do things. And I think people are confused as to why don't I have, like last year we went to St. Lucia. Why don't do parties as much anymore? And I think one of the things I've realized in life, if not this year, previous years, is that, man, lost my mama this year. You just learn that we got to celebrate every day like it's a birthday. That doesn't mean we have to have a party or a spam, but hey, I feel like going out with my boys. Let's do dinner. That's what we're going to do. We feel like going on a quick trip. If we can afford it, that's what we're going to do. If we feel like having a get together, that's what we're going to do. I think as I've gotten older, I've realized this celebration every day we wake up and breathe, and are able to, secure a safe living with good health and happiness. So I appreciate the well wishes, and thank you for the reminders to live every day in a celebratory mood. I know you all think I'm grumpy. No, I'm just serious about life sometimes. That's it. But look, obviously, this show is not about me. It's not about my individual. But let me just, again, thank you so much, Yolanda and Carla and Tanya, Rosalind Famous, Angeline. Really appreciate it.
Carla called you youngster. All right.
Yeah. I mean, she's mature. That's why people with wisdom call me those names. Yeah, they would call me those names. But I think one of the things I never done on my birthday is work, and I'm working today. And the reason that I, am choosing to work is because sometimes it's bigger than that one day of celebration, and sometimes we have to understand that there are things that need to be taken care of. And if we're blessed or lucky enough, we'll have more birthdays and days to celebrate life, unlike a very young man this past weekend who will never get to have another birthday. And this is a community problem that just doesn't seem to be leaving us. I know that social media, Burp, and I know you're not a big fan of social media. I think your social media reflects your life, right? You're a very modest person per se, right?
Yeah.
But I put a comment on social media, and everybody, one thing I've realized as I've grown older is not every status on social media is an invitation to an argument. Some people just are sharing their personal perspectives about stuff. And when we go on and we speak about violence in Bermuda or violence anywhere, it's not to say that it's worse than somewhere else or it's comparative all the times. What we're really speaking of is we have a problem that we need to fix. And so waking up on Saturday morning to see that there was yet another murder and a very young person.
Yeah.
A very young person. And, we'll bring Maya in for the news break and she'll give us more details. It's disturbing. And, I had a good friend last night. I tried my best to stay up going back and forth with him, but I was just so tired from my weekend. He made some great points and he challenged me. And we were in a group chat and he came on the side and I'm like, bro, you know me, I don't mind being challenged. And he says, what can we do? What are we doing? And I don't want to go down a list of things that I tried to do or that I believe I've contributed to trying to help these, where we're at. But we have to challenge one another. We have to challenge our own comfort.
Yeah.
To figure out what it is we can do. I repeat this lyric, and Shara's gonna laugh, but from Jason's lyric, when Jada Pinkett said to Alan Payne, who was her boyfriend on the show, stop trying to save a brother that don't want to be saved. But at what point do we give up? At what point do we say they're gonna have to learn on their own, or do we keep pushing? Is there always an opportunity to save? I think we're at a point where don't be fooled. This mic is one avenue, but there's mentorship, there's coaching, and I'm not putting this on Larry and Phil, but they've been in the classroom. At least Larry, you've coached young people, so I'm not quite sure I have the answers. But the question to the audience this morning, on a very serious note, is what more can we do to stop this violence in our community? What is it that we can do? Because I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that literally does not even want to open their phone weekends because you feel like something's going to happen. And you get that notification, TNN went live while you were asleep. You know it's something not good.
Yeah. But when you told me I was going, I knew I was going to be on the show today, and I knew that at some point we had to talk about this. And I won't lie, I struggled with what I am going to say. The young man, 15 or 16, I don't know if his age has been confirmed, but we know high school age. And we're not talking about graduating high school age where, S1, S2, S3.
Mm-hmm.
It just really says, like, where do we go from here? I have so many different ways in which I want to talk about it at a macro level, which I kind of won't, because it may cross over with some of the things that I do for my job, and yeah, I'll leave it at that. But I think with all of that said, we have to look at it at a micro level. And Michael Jackson said, "The man in the mirror." I reflected, obviously, my son is 4 years old and time has flew. And I just say, you know what, in three blinks and a cough is going to be that 15, 16 age. And, I challenge myself. What are you gonna do? How can you do this? And at the end of the day, being a present parent doesn't guarantee that something like this will not happen,
Correct.
but the likelihood probably goes down. And I think we have to look to, like you said, step out of our comfort zone. And when we do that, I think some of these people who are involved in these things will become uncomfortable.
Mm,
It's a level of comfort in Bermuda by with this issue that everyone has. These politicians do not feel the heat from this.
mm,
They know that they just have to come up with the standard line, this senseless act of violence.
mm,
It don't matter who's the national security minister, or it's the same blanket statement. Who's
mm,
talking to these young men? I've yet to see somebody say, "Hey, let's set up a meeting and come in, arms program, and you come in and you exchange put your weapons down, and there won't be no charge." I'm not saying it has to be that, but what are those types of things that's happening? We just keep having the same town hall meetings, the
mm,
same blanket statements, and nothing's getting better. These are all men, mostly black men. We have one or two
mm,
white people that this violence has affected
mm, mm.
to this level.
I want. It's interesting because we don't see these issues in um, other communities, right? That's just the facts,
Yeah,
right? It's the facts. And you mentioned about man in the mirror, like looking, within ourselves. I'm going to say something that's going to sound judgmental and ruffle some feathers, but we can't say we want better for our young man or people when they see us doing everything but. Let's look at some things. We go to a football game on the weekend. We're drunk and we're cursing and carrying on. Children are there.
yeah.
That's what they're gonna see. What a
You heard the
family.
comments. They'll be all right. They say that. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We're at a family function, right? Barbecue. We're cursing. We're carrying on. We're drinking. Again, it may sound judgmental, and you can say, "Oh, it happens everywhere," or this is my parents were worse. This, and because the justification is, well, my parents did, and I turned out okay. Well, times change, and uh, the way people react and absorb things change as well. And as long as young people whose minds are like sponges, right? As long as they see you doing it and think it's okay, we're no longer living in a time where you can send your children to Sunday school and you not go. You could be home sitting or having a mimosa or whatnot. It's not that time anymore. It's time where you need to be more involved. Why? Because with access to so much more in the world, especially through the internet, you're literally fighting a battle that requires the word Larry used earlier, your presence more than it did previously. Remember, when we were growing up, we didn't have the internet till we were teenagers. Well, speaking of Larry and myself, right? So we didn't have access like young people have it now. But I challenge Bermuda. I challenge every last person who is watching today, who is listening today, every last person I'm friends with, every chat group. I challenge you. If you can make one change today, a birthday wish from me to you. It's something I never did when I was living in Bermuda, when I was coaching or mentoring, whatever. And I started this when I was in Big Brothers in Rhode Island, when I was a mentor there. I loved to drink. I used to drink all the time, but I never drank around children.
Yeah.
I challenge you. The next time you have a birthday party, 1 year birthday, or a baby's christening, I challenge you not to have any alcohol present. I challenge you. Challenge you. I'm got a foul mouth too. You all know it. But sometimes Bert and I be talking. Hey, he knows my mouth. Mason's around his son. So I'm part of this. I am part of this.
Yeah.
Let's challenge ourselves to be our best selves. And if our best is not good enough, then work on becoming better so that young people, when they're around us, when they see our behaviors, they are absorbing something that they can believe in. Oh, this is something I can follow. This is something that can help me or benefit me.
Yeah. You said something a bit earlier, and I think certain things apply in certain situations. And right now, the term "it happens everywhere in the world" does not fit. We're
Mhm,
talking about our community is a small community. I don't care what's going on somewhere else. This
mhm,
is happening here. If
mhm,
you're going and you're left and everything is okay over there, or you see the same issues there, yes, we use it for comparison. But don't dummy this thing down like, hey, well, it happens everywhere else. You can go nowhere and it's not this. We are talking about fixing the issue here. And if you're not a part of that, you are part of the problem. And
yeah,
it's we have to, people, in my opinion, we have to be more present. We have to be aware.
yeah,
It's morphing. Remember how we always talk about, so many people used to say, well, let them kill themselves when it was
yep,
just a 40-second or just this
yep,
thing has gotten out of control. 12, 13, 15 years later, it's hitting different
mhm,
pieces of the community, and it will continue if it doesn't
mhm,
stop.
yeah,
And to be honest, I just don't think that it hit the right community for the powers to be to truly get involved with. Because when it hits the right part of the community, you'll see a different action, and it will be a bit more forceful. And
mhm,
it's going to create a divide because the first thing people's going to say, well, where's this been all this time?
mhm,
And it's and I don't want to get caught up in that. All I'm saying is that we as individuals must look to do better.
yeah,
We must. And I'm talking about myself. I went deep within myself this weekend and said, hey, what can you do better for the next generation, which
mhm,
is my son?
yeah. Folks, question of the morning: what more can we do to stop this violence in our community? Dr. Maria Seaman says, by now we should have had a few national addresses from our leaders at least.
But
Um,
what is that gonna do?
Doc,
Like we have, sorry, go
I
ahead.
immediately did a live. Where is the personal touch care? Well, I agree. Before I go on, I have a lot of comments, but you're right. The national address is just words without action. And I think people, I think acknowledgement. I think what Dr. Seaman's saying is there's been no acknowledgement of it.
Yes, I think
I do agree with that, but I think what people want to see after this, and again, let's focus. Think about what I just said. And I'm not picking on the premier, but let's be honest. This premier, more than any premier, you've probably seen drinking and around enjoying himself socially than any other because he's young and age wise, it's what he does. When I say we have to look within and figure out some of these problems, it can be leadership, it can be us, it can be our families, friends. Like we have a lot. It's accountability. It's accountability. And someone said it. Silas says there is no accountability on all levels. Michaela Smith says this is just my personal opinion. We keep putting band-aids on issues instead of attacking the core issue in Bermuda. We don't invest in mental health for ourselves and our children. Child sexual abuse, domestic violence, and drug addiction, I feel, are at the core of what people are missing. These are all at the core of our issues. I don't disagree with you. I think, for years it was shame, especially Black people, shame for even thinking of going to counseling for anything, right? Be it addiction, abuse, or just therapy. Like it
yeah.
was shamed. My hope is that we're coming beyond that. But I said this last week, and I stick it. Just look at how divided we were over the death of Queen Elizabeth II. I think
Okay.
the reactions from all sides, it just shows how much trauma there is in the Black community. We have a very traumatic community, and I don't think we've honestly faced up to that. Why? Because as Joshua says, and all by myself, everybody got the answers, yet the problems still remain. And I think that's the biggest issue in our community. We all have the answers, yet the problems still remain. That's one of the things that stands out for me. Tanya Cheeseman Burton.
How many parents know what their children post on social media and address it with them? I feel that plays a part on these events. Good point, and also remember your children are watching what you post too.
And to say that, we're going to touch on this tomorrow, most likely, but the picture of the young men playing for the Bermuda national football team posing with these certain poses. Well, there are children that do this. They put all this, talk about violence on social media and so on. Like, where are the parents? Like, do they have their parents blocked on these accounts? I mean,
you got to go through your phones. Go through the phones, parents.
Who's paying for the phone?
Yeah, even if they ain't, your bookmark will be paying. If that phone's in your house, go through that phone. And it's not a invasion of privacy, and I know it gets different, but you don't know what happens. Things have been discovered and found out from parents because they went through their phones. And I'm talking about safety issues.
Yeah, safety issues.
Go through your child's phone.
Yeah, we've caught child predators like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's be clear. Silas Lynch says Bermudians ain't ready to hear that alcohol is a problem. Stop having it at a party. What? No way. It's something that needs to happen.
Yeah. And I think it's so many issues and not just one.
Yeah.
Which is why I think the easiest is to address it at the micro level. Because we can go here all day next week, the week after that, talking about, how many different things. So, it's just difficult.
Dr. Seaman says, start with words and then follow through with something. Indeed. Silas Lynch says, police need to go hard, though. I don't think this is the answer. I could be wrong, but I don't think tougher policing is necessarily the answer.
I agree. I agree with what you said, Hartman. I think I could see where one comes from when they want that. I think if you think we get down, but I think if it's not that holistic level of addressing the core issues, like what Ms. Smith said earlier, we're just going to be recycling the same problems.
Yeah. Dr. Seaman says, I like what you have said, Mr. Marshall. Start to be the change with a start. And Kathy Rogers says, accountability across the board in all areas, especially the top. Samcat Place says, aside from martial law, what else can we really do? Do these young ones want to be saved? They keep touching and fueling the fire so much. Can we really put it out for them? And this is what I said earlier. It's again, just quoting the movie, stop trying to save a brother that don't want to be saved. But at the same time, these problems are not, when a child's born, think of birth, right? Child's born, they're the most innocent being. We all say, oh, how cute and this and that. We all, baby, we all, we're all around hugging and kissing and loving, right? And then 15, 16 years later, what do we have on our hands?
And also, yes, I can understand where Samcat Place is coming from for the 15s, 16s. But what about the people 10 years behind them, 12 years behind them? Because we're seeing the shift from 2007, 2008, when this gun violence first started to get to a level like where it was like, whoa, right? So in 10, 12 years, when those boys who are now 4, 16 and stuff like that, what's going to happen? What are we doing for them? And that's what we do.
Comments, because we're behind with Maya, but let me go through a few more comments. Carla Jones says, not drinking, smoking, or cursing in the presence of children should be an easy step, but there are many unwilling to make that commitment. Manuela John says, the youth of the premier and the age of his children would make you think that these issues would be important to him. I will say this much. The age of the premier literally has nothing to do with the way he governs. But I had hope because of his age, it would have an impact. Let's bring Maya in to see, she'll give us some more news about the latest murder in Bermuda. Folks, we're also going to be touching on school. And this, this conversation actually intertwines with the new school year, right? We send our children to school with the promise that they will get an education and make our community a better place. Let's bring Maya in. Let's bring the news break first and bring Maya in.
It's
Good
getting
morning.
older.
How are you?
It's
Good
getting
morning,
older,
good
Maya.
morning, everyone. No,
That's
no,
why
you
it's
had it.
forgetting.
You had it right. Good morning,
It's
everyone.
getting older.
This is the Daily Hour News Break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. I'm Maya Palacio, and yeah, it is a sad day for Bermuda once again.
Yeah. So, what are the details that we have so far, Maya, from the latest incident? I know it happened at Horseshoe Bay Beach, correct?
Yes, it happened at Horseshoe Bay Beach. The latest incident comes from around Saturday morning, is what they had reported to us, basically stating that a male in his teens was stabbed to death on Friday of September 9th at Horseshoe Bay. The police do have persons of interest that they are looking into right now, and another male was also injured by stabbing, but his injuries are non-life threatening and they occurred around his arm area. And then the investigative officer, Detective Inspector Jason Smith, said there were several young people in the park when this unfortunate incident occurred. Parents, if your child should come home talking about this incident, please get in contact with the police at 211 or the sergeant's main line. He said is 7170864.
Can you repeat? So let me just. You said if your child should come home talking about this incident, please get in contact with police. Can we not emphasize that enough? The fact the police know that these young people go home and talk about it, but what are parents doing? Likely, no, I don't want my child involved. That's an interesting statement.
They definitely know there was a lot of young people there. I mean, Horseshoe Bay has been frequent quite often during the summer now at night. And I actually did a little bit more interest and research this morning because I was just curious when I posted the video of Sergeant Jason Smith like telling us what had happened to my TikTok page because I know I have a younger audience there. I was hoping to see maybe some conversation, something come from it, but there was just some comments about how like people are concerned about the location and what's going on around Horseshoe Bay Beach. So I just did a little bit of research, just seeing what has happened this year. And I found two things so far this morning. One being that there was an altercation outside where there was multiple injuries, and that was in April. And another in May where a 26-year-old female was stabbed multiple times at Horseshoe Bay as well. And then, of course, we have what happened on Friday, another stabbing. So that's what I found. And I saw a comment down when you guys were discussing it about leadership and people addressing it. There was actually a statement from the National Minister of Security, Michael Weeks, that was sent out about the incident as well.
Okay, so real quickly, I know you mentioned a few incidents, stabbings at Horseshoe Bay Beach. So are there people just congregating there, or are there actually events that took place?
There's actually events. There are actual events. I couldn't necessarily say the names of the parties and things. I can't necessarily recall them, but yeah, there were actual events there. There is a club and a bar down there at night that is quite frequented.
And it seems to be that a younger crowd goes there. Obviously, if you have a 16-year-old in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And 16, I mean, Maya didn't share an actual age. You said teens, but it seems to be that people are saying 15, 16. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that's school age, right? Graduation age will be like 18 in Bermuda at this point. School starts today in Bermuda, which we'll get into. I mean, are the police saying anything of like, obviously they haven't released the actual age, but have they touched on anything like that? Because if I'm not mistaken, to go in an establishment where alcohol is being served, you have to be 18 in Bermuda, correct?
Yes.
Interesting.
But they was in the parking lot, and the makeup of it, and I think part of the issue why some of these incidents happen at Horseshoe Bay is because the parking lot is a good 100 meters away from where the actual venue is. You know what I mean? So, and they do have security and stuff like that. I've only been there once, but the parking lot is just wide open. You know what Horseshoe Bay parking lot is, and everyone could go there.
Anything else, Maya, you've got today?
Well, just had the remembering of 9/11 that occurred yesterday. If we remember the day, that was super tragic. It was a coordinated suicide terrorist attack in the U.S. Over 3,000 people lost their lives, including 3 Bermudians and Bermudian residents. So just in remembrance of that day that happened yesterday, an anniversary of 21 years since that day.
Yeah, and you know what? That date, I had actually been in the U.S. For about 3 weeks at that point, and just remember waking up in Huntsville, Alabama, and back in my day, Maya, we actually had radio alarms, and so my radio alarm woke me up, and I'm trying to listen to this new station I found, and all you hear, it sounded like news. And so I was still new to the cable, so every channel I turned on, it had the same thing. So I thought the cable weren't working, if I remember correctly. And having first time living outside of Bermuda, it was quite the experience. It was actually a scary experience, because as a non-American, you don't know what to expect from people, knowing that this is something many hadn't experienced in a lifetime, like an attack on the US, right? It was different, and it changed travel. I mean, Maya, I don't know if you know this, but there was a time in Bermuda where you used to be able to go right up to the gate when people were traveling. There were times in the US, even people could go right up to people's gates. Like, it changed travel. It changed like the way we lived so much. If anything changed the way we live globally, it would be 9/11. It's been a different experience, and having lived in New York, it's something that you kind of keep in the back of your head. Like, are you safe? Do you know what's going to happen? Coming through the PATH train at the World Trade Center to get into the city, it's stuff that stays on the back of your mind. You just don't know. You never know. And I think people need to be very conscious and aware that, yes, that happened September 11th in the US, but it is happening around the world in many places on a regular basis. Go ahead, sorry.
Yes, just following off what you just said, I actually talked to a couple of friends the other day. I mean, 21 years ago, I was 4 years old, so I don't recall it as much, but I was talking to a friend of mine who recalls being on his first day of like transitioning into Walk Academy, and he recalls like the alarms going off, an emergency assembly, and then everyone had to be sent home to their families in the day. Like, even though it wasn't happening in Bermuda, it was a global thing, and it really scared a lot of people because they didn't know what was going to happen next, or who was going to be hit next, and things like that. So it is something that you have to honestly remember. And like you said, it did shake up how we travel drastically in Bermuda and around the world. And I also read a couple of articles from some persons who recall the day in the States, and they're just like, even though it happened 21 years ago, for them, it just feels like yesterday.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where if you're of age, you know exactly what you were doing the time you heard or you saw it.
Yeah, indeed. Got anything else, Maya?
Just the fact that it's the first day of school today. Obviously, teachers have been there since September the 1st. But yes, this is the very first day for the new signature programs as well for the incoming S1 students. And so that is something that is occurring. And hopefully everyone got their COVID testing that they needed to get in order to have in-school learning today.
All right, COVID testing. All right, and then what's the weather looking like on my birthday? What's the weather looking like today? Give them some sunshine.
It's a little partly cloudy, but right now it's a lot of sunshine. So, Bermuda's weather goes in and out. I'm sure it won't be too cloudy for long. We're not expecting any rain today, so hopefully the sun does break.
Don't blame me. That partly cloudy is not a reflection of me. I'm a sunny guy. Maya, thank you so much for that. You got days of the year for us, Bert?
I do. Right. Today is Video Games Day. Get together with your friends or log in with distant friends on Video Games Day to connect and enjoy one of modern society's most diverting and fun pastimes. I myself may actually partake today. Women, don't get me up, just today's the day.
Maya, do you play video games, Maya?
I used to play video games, but give me a Nintendo DS or something, and I'll be on that thing all day. But I feel like Larry plays video games every day, and you celebrate this every single day, right? Not just today.
No, every day. Look, the new FIFA comes out the end of this month. I will go hard. That's what it is.
All right, Maya, thank you so much, folks. Do you play video games? You know what? Maybe video games is a great distraction to keep our young people away from stuff. In all seriousness, I'm just saying. Hey. But Maya, thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, guys.
All right, Maya.
All right, see you later.
We're going to continue the conversation based on what she said. First day of the new school year for public school students. If you have video games, let us know your favorite video game. We're going to take a quick break, come back after this, and we're going to focus on education. Stick with us.
It's a struggle behind those walls.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Hi, I'm Karen, a nurse at the old folks home. These long hours used to kill my feet until my hairdresser told me about a great place to buy a pair of clogs. Medical House. Finally, relief. They also carry uniforms in bright, bold colors. And not to mention the support stockings.
Karen, Miss Soltis bet her bet again.
Oh gosh, these days, I need all the support I can get.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dendy Town Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick, tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
Alrighty, welcome back to the Big Show. Larry Marshall Jr. I'm Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Folks, if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed on our website, thedailyhour.com, so you don't miss a chance for updates, prizes, promotions, and more. Also, if you're on the go and you can't watch us, you want to be safe while you're driving, just download the app available for BCG radio app available for Android and Apple devices. You can listen to us every single time we go live. Time for another important focus today. We want to talk about the new school year. I know when we speak about the new school year, we often think about students. But in order, I'm no person who's ever been in the classroom, but in order to have successful students, we need decent environments. Those environments start at home. We need to ensure that the people responsible for educating them have the tools that they need. So I think that our minds need to expand to understand that there's more to a successful school year than a good and attentive student. So question of the morning, as we focus on education, is what can we do to ensure the new school year is one of success for Bermuda and Bermudians? Notice I didn't say students, but Bermuda and Bermudians, because the success of each student, our island depends on them.
Yeah, it benefits all.
It benefits every last one of us. Again, you've been in the classroom from a very young age. You were a very young teacher, Larry, and I think I can speak from being a student throughout my years, which probably wasn't the best experience for many of my teachers. But I think they still love me and forgive me. But what goes into a new school year? I mean, they're going into these new signature schools. Programs have changed. School is a place where you're supposed to go and learn. Obviously, things happening in the community. Young man gets murdered. Do these conversations carry over into schools? How does it impact learning? You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember something happening on the weekend and we all go to school and we're talking about it and it becomes the focus of our day. But I guess as a community, what can we do to ensure the new school year is one of success for Bermuda and Bermudians? That's your question, folks.
So you asked a few things there. I know you want to have a show with as far as me being a former teacher. I performed a few roles. I was a teacher at one point, a long-term sub, permanent allocated sub, which was my favorite, and a paraprofessional. First of all, shout out to all the teachers that's going, because they're going to need our shout outs, our prayers, and everything. And I really truly hope that they get the support of the administration and the ministry. I think that's what's most needed from a teacher point of view, especially when it comes to discipline issues. But I don't want to make that about that. I just think, the classrooms that I've been in, and a good bit of time I've been support staff in the classroom, and some of the great teachers I've been around had great communication. And great communication with their students, and great communication with the administration, and more importantly, great communications with the parents. And it's difficult. It is difficult as a teacher. You are trying to fight the beast. Sometimes and I'm just talking about it's 15, 20 students, and this person's coming in, and this one may be at one level, and another one's at this level, and this person's not had breakfast this morning, or this. It's so many different things. And things can get lost. And what I will always say is with parents, sticking with this communication piece is, well, what are you doing? You have one child to deal with. You have one teacher to make contact with at primary. Obviously, as it goes up, it's more teachers. Sometimes you'll go, they're just telling me in November that my child's not doing this. How come I'm just hearing about it? Have you gone and asked, hey, what's going on? And if you have, fine, then hold the teacher accountable, because
Right.
we're talking all about accountability.
Mhm.
But if just the first time you're meeting your child's parent in November, I'm sorry, teacher in November, it's an issue,
Yeah.
and it's an issue for both. So this communication thing, I think, is key, and I think that's one of the areas that I can look back and say is very helpful as far as when we talk about a successful school year for all.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that, because we often talk about relationships on this show and how important the relationship between the teachers and the parent. Like, it's probably one of the most important ones. Think of the coach, the football coach. I'm going to use football, and the parent. You know how some parents like to be, at the field and trying to tell the coach how to coach and telling the children what to do. I think what many people would love to see is that same energy invested in, well, not necessarily. I don't think we really want the parent
I completely get what you're saying.
how to coach or teach, but you want that, that energy, that same interest level, right?
Yeah, I mean, I used to say at school sports, at inter-school sports, parents are out in droves. I've seen parents at those events that I never seen for PTA meetings, parent-teacher meetings.
Mhm.
It's like, well, where have you been? What's going on? And they need to be there. And I don't care if your child you feel is doing good, they still need some level of representation. And it's always time. Oh, well, I can't because of my job. So you got a haircut appointment, you have a nail appointment, you do something, you find a way to have other ways to go. Sometimes you call out sick for, you ain't feeling it today. Take 2 hours out of that sick day and go down to your child's school.
Yeah. It's, question of the morning, folks. Hey, look, I appreciate the directness right here. But what can we do to ensure the new school year is one of success for Bermuda and Bermudians? And Sean DeShields echoes what we're saying. It all boils down to the relationships that must be formulated between the teachers and parents.
And students.
I'm sorry, and students as well, as Larry said. Kathy Rogers says, be involved with the child/student and the teacher/school. Be present at the school as often as you can. And I think this goes to show, like, you don't necessarily have to go just when there's a PTA meeting. You don't have to go just when you're called. I think, from my own experience, I used to be so mad because my mom would always go to school and other people's parents didn't. I was like, well, why their parents? You know what I'm saying? I used to think that was a good thing. And then you got older and realized, no, she just was present. She went at what was best. Nachika Trot, she said, Traveling Trotty says, support of the community and involved parents. What does support from the community look like? That's, I guess, what does that look like? What does it, from just a general space?
Support from the community. I always go with okay, support could be something simple as, the school wants to hold a cross country race and they need marshals. Someone in the community can come and just volunteer their time just to be a marshal. They don't have to get in and say, hey, they want to direct children and say this. At the end of the day, folks, children will only respond to those they have relationships with. That doesn't mean that someone that you don't have a relationship with, you can't come in and be of assistance to the school. I've been in certain schools that are in certain communities that don't necessarily reflect the children that go to the schools, and they're not present. you would not see any neighbors coming around and partnering with certain things because the children go to the private schools. And
Mm,
for me, that's a problem.
Interesting. Dr. Maria Siemens says, send disciplined children from your house. That's where it begins. And as I agree, as I stated earlier, it's really all about environments, right? And that environment is not just in the school. That environment must be one at home. They must be leaving a healthy and prosperous environment to go to one. So it definitely does start at home. I'm Sloan Johnson there.
Parents have to hold their children accountable for their actions or lack thereof. Stop defending bad behavior.
And
I
what
agree.
examples of this would be, so if the child does something wrong in school and they're disciplined, then instead of the parent coming to the school angry that their child was disciplined, it would mean sitting down with the teacher and correcting behaviors. Is that an example?
I can agree with that. Sometimes parents will go above the school's position and go straight to the ministry, and that can provide or prove to be detrimental. I know sometimes when a teacher makes a hard stance and the school gets behind them and the ministry comes behind and they want this to happen and whatnot, the teacher's like, you know what? I'm done. I did my part. Go ahead. Do what you want to do. And that's never a good thing because you want that level. You don't want someone to put their hands up and just back off from something, but
Mhm,
that can happen. And a lot of the times, at times, I won't say a lot, it
mhm,
is defending things that just shouldn't be defended.
mm, mm. What can we do to ensure the new school year is one of success for Bermuda and Bermudians? Traveling Trotty says support of the community is volunteering, such as lunch duty or after school, starting a club, etc. And I like that. I like that because we're gonna have Jade Eve on tomorrow talking technology, and I know he's done a lot of tech stuff, but simple stuff like starting a tech club after school could be one that helps children find a new hobby that keeps them focused, right?
Yeah.
I always say, I didn't start enjoying school like literally until college when I was majoring in something I enjoyed, radio and video and radio, right? So for me, if we find a way to make education fun, and it could be through those after school programs and intertwine, like linking it with the classes that they're doing, distracting children with things they love could be the difference between success and failure.
Yes. However, we as the community need to remember that sometimes when we want to have these great ideas and implement these programs, it may not be easy at the start.
Correct.
Our kids are very guarded. They respect those. I'm not saying they should respect. They are comfortable with those that they know. The biggest pain in my backside, if someone new came in and they didn't know them, they will look for me for some level of assurance and whatnot.
Mm,
So I think at times people come in the community and they don't get the response from the children, and it's like, oh wow, I tried. You know what I mean?
mm,
We have to persevere. We have to go. Maybe just be one or two children, and in your mind you had 20 children.
mm.
But sometimes these things work, and the more relationships you build, the better it should get.
Indeed, indeed. What can we do to ensure the new school year is one of success for Bermuda and Bermudians? Sloan Johnson says, example, child breaks rule and phone gets taken. Parent
Okay.
comes, makes off to get phone back, but the child broke the rules. What's the point of having the rules?
I stopped taking phones because of that. I mean, no sense. Like it became a bigger pain for me.
Mhm.
And I'm not taking jewelry. I'm not taking phones because I don't feel like writing an email to explain why I did what I did.
But there's got to be another. Um, I mean, maybe this is more governmental and legislative, but if the child's breaking a rule, let's just take it in the context they're breaking a law, right?
Hmm.
If a child breaks a law, if a person breaks a law, nobody could. I mean, they can hire a lawyer,
Yeah.
right? Um, I don't know. I'm not saying we need to create a whole system to ensure that they face consequences.
Ye- And that was my thing because then we put so much energy into that, and
Right.
the big screen in the big scheme of things, it's the fun. All right, they shouldn't have had it. This, that, and the other. or can we redirect this energy towards the actual learning part? Um, it's a fine line. I'm not gonna say, some will start with it, give me a phone, and they'll take it. I just got tired of it because you could do it every single day.
But the concern, as Neek's Ibel says, is then they get older and start breaking laws. And I don't think this necessarily falls on the teacher, but I hope that parents understand.
Yeah, rules are there.
What they're doing when they do this. Like if your child is breaking a rule and you go and defend that behavior, I'm just saying that's the start of something. It could potentially be the start of something that's not in the best interest of that child.
But it's so funny because we want these harsh rules about cell phones, but most places of work want minimal cell phone usage, and like I guarantee most adults go across. The employers have issues with their cell phone usage. So, yeah.
Sloan Johnson says the child sees parent defending the bad behavior, so it encourages negative behaviors.
Yeah,
Charlie says maybe it's time for schools to embrace technology.
Yes, I can completely agree with that.
Well, I saw something on LinkedIn the other day where a young lady was speaking about she got fired some years ago from being on like MSN Messenger or something during work hours, and literally all she was doing was talking to another colleague about work on Messenger. And she said, it's amazing how 20 years down the road, we're communicating through Teams Messenger, for work. And, how we never embraced it back then, but how it's become a thing. So I take Traveling Trotter's point. I guess the challenge in school is there still needs to be rules, right? You don't want children in there texting friends and sending pictures and just things that are not related to school. So how do you monitor that if everyone's got their phone out?
So I had a colleague that at one point, wanted to be like, you know what? I really want the children to get this. Everyone take their phones out and record me. However, you can't do that because if you're walking, if the principal or somebody's walking across the window and they see 15 children with their phones up like this, that goes around, that becomes an issue. But at the end of the day, all the teacher wanted to do was to make sure that the children captured this critical piece of information that she wanted. You know what I mean? And I just feel that it's so black and white, harsh down the middle that at the end of the day, is it really beneficial, or do we need to start embracing a bit more of this phone technology?
Yeah, no, I got you. Sloan Johnson will wrap it up here. Nick Seibel says, yes, rules are there for a reason. Parents are creating monsters out here. Sloan Johnson goes on to say, I spoke about the integration of tech in the classroom and meeting kids where they are. The teachers are against it because they fear the tech, especially older teachers. She said this was at a BUT conference. The lack of knowledge around tech in education is astounding. Well, it's interesting. I think we're at a crossroads. We're at an interesting point. But I just hope that, for the sake of Bermuda, we all do what needs to be done to ensure that these children are learning the skills needed to make Bermuda a better place. We're going to take a quick break. Folks, if you appreciated the discussion and the focus this morning, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. If you found these conversations helpful, please make sure that you share them with your friends and your family and your colleagues. We want to carry these conversations to a space where we can ensure Bermuda becomes a better place. Do not go anywhere. We're going to come back, wrap it up, give you our final thoughts as well as the daily play. And you know what? I'm going to give something away. It's my birthday. So I'm going to give something away on my birthday. Why not? I'll give something to you guys. Stick with us.
A lot happens around your home. That is why at One Communications, we have introduced affordable security and video monitoring, because everyone should be able to afford to protect their family. Anytime, from anywhere, One Home Security keeps you connected and puts security in your hands with an easy-to-use smartphone app to control everything. Home security is important to keep you and your family safe. Motion-activated cameras around your home and security monitoring within create a complete security system providing protection both inside and outside your home. Professional monitoring means that there's someone on call with 24/7 protection to notify the authorities and help keep you and your loved ones safe. We are dedicated to whole home protection with indoor and outdoor cameras, smart door locks, motion sensors, and more, so you'll always be connected to what matters most. with professional installation, no upfront hardware fees, and low monthly rates, because keeping your family safe should be affordable for everyone. Total home video monitoring and security. There's no better way to protect your home than with One Home Security.
I'm part of the SSCP, giving us opportunities to go out and sell, which is what I'm doing today.
One of the most important things I learned in the SSCP is that failure is just a part of being an entrepreneur.
As a vote community, then you can't go anywhere, can you? I just believe it's a really beautiful and amazing experience for everybody.
A lot of late nights being up trying to finalize things, especially for me.
You don't have to do everything at once. Little steps is the key to success.
They helped me go through every step of the way.
It has helped me gain more confidence, so that's one thing.
I'm Marley Spriggs and I am an entrepreneur.
My name is Joshua Allen and I am an entrepreneur.
My name is Trey Robertson Richards and I am an entrepreneur. My name is Namira Rayner and I am an entrepreneur.
My name is Vincent Darrell and I am an entrepreneur.
I'm Shayla Swan and I'm an entrepreneur.
I am Sophia Pasenhan. I am an entrepreneur.
My name is Zion and I'm a young entrepreneur.
Alrighty. Welcome back. Thanks again to One Communications, People's Pharmacy, Medical House, and Lindos. Like I said, we're going to do a giveaway, so don't go anywhere. But it's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Heineken 0.0. Great taste, no alcohol, and Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, as well as TikTok, to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. Larry, are you ready? Sure. All right, here we go. It's a Who Said It. Quote, no country can really develop unless its citizens are educated. A famous African leader.
Kofi Annan. Nelson Mandela.
Somebody got it before you, but
okay.
It was Nelson Mandela who said, no country can really develop unless its citizens are educated. Nelson Mandela. Folks, the hashtag today, gonna give away a deck of Bermuda Trivia cards for my birthday, my gift to you. So the hashtag will be Bermuda Trivia today. So hashtag Bermuda Trivia to win a deck of Bermuda Trivia cards. Let's wrap it up, Bert. Final thoughts on this morning's discussion and then the focus.
I think I'm gonna intertwine both with what I'm about to say. I was talking to a former educator. I still know her, and her advice was, no matter where you are, be a present parent. And it just took that away with, like, if you're in the classroom, if that had football or the social activities, be a present parent. And I think that's where I'm going with it this morning, because of that's how I'm feeling as a parent right now.
Yeah, I think again, I think they can be intertwined. I think the issues we face are actually intertwined. The problems that we encounter are actually intertwined. And I think if we understood that, we'll actually be able to collectively work together for a better Bermuda and a safer space for everyone to grow and achieve and exceed what they intend to. So my hope is that, when we have these conversations, we don't just go off and, yep, I said my piece, that's it, right? But we look at it and we say, you know what? That was a good conversation. Here's how I intend to do my part going forward. So, folks, hopefully you found the conversation helpful. Let's do the giveaway, and then we'll do the daily inspiration and let you go off for the day. So, hashtag Bermuda Trivia. We're going to give away a deck of Bermuda Trivia Volume 1. Some interesting questions in Volume 1. We actually, there will be there'll be another volume released, I believe in November. It's a holiday edition. So Bermuda's Holidays. So you don't want to miss out on that. That's a really cool edition. Props to Jada Rogers Engelman, who is doing a lot of the work behind the scenes on Bermuda Trivia. She is a law student and my goddaughter, who I'm very proud of. But let's bring it up. Let's see. Bermuda Trivia. Let's see who's getting themselves a deck today, Bert. Let's see who's got it. Big money. All right.
Big money.
You heard him. Big money. Shawnette Bell, you got yourself one. There you go. So Shawnette Bell, please send an email to engage@thedailyhour.com so that you can collect your deck of Bermuda Trivia Volume 1. And you know what? Since it was Phil's birthday as well, maybe we'll do another one tomorrow. Folks, if you appreciated today's conversation, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Burp, you got some daily inspiration before we head out?
I do. Push yourself, because no one else is going to do it for you. Oh, no.
I like that one. I like that. Well, folks, thanks again to our partners, Medical Health, One Communications, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. He's Larry Marshall Jr. I'm Jamel Hartman. My friends, I'm going to enjoy my birthday, so you make it a safe and great day. I wonder if I'm getting a cake. I like cake. Peace.
Send it FedEx.